Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning into this specific history and ancient studies session. We are so excited to be hearing more about the programs. We've got a great lineup for you. And so with that, I will let Amy introduce herself and then Nicholas.
Hello, I am Dr. Amy Milne-Smith. I am an associate professor in the Department of History. I'm also the undergraduate coordinator, so you might see a lot of me in your academic career. I'm a specialist in 19th century Britain, but I kind of teach all over the place, as many of my colleagues do. And our student joining us today is actually in one of my classes this year.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Morrison. I'm a third year history and medieval studies double major. And I'm also the president of the History Students Association.
Awesome. Thank you so much for those awesome introductions. So first, I just want to hear a little bit more about the faculty, about the programs. So why don't you, Amy, just elaborate a little bit more on that so the students know what to expect?
Well, at Laurier, you are going to meet a very big history faculty, which is a good thing. It means there's lots of different professors teaching in lots of different areas. So we cover really broad time periods and geographies. You can take classes in everything from Africa to Europe to Canada to transnational courses of all time periods. We're also very active researchers, and we bring that research into our classrooms and our excitement for it into the classrooms. And sometimes it's the classroom that excites us and spurs on our research. So we really are a very active, very engaged department, and you'll find a lot of really motivated teachers.
Awesome, thanks. And kind of along that line, I'm going to throw it to you, Nicholas, for a little bit more info about some of your favorite courses, some things that you've taken that you've really enjoyed throughout your time.
So one of my favorite courses would be Dr. D's Great Battles in History. It's a first year course. It's a survey course, so it covers battles from antiquity all the way up to the Second World War. So it's a really great survey course, and it kind of lets you take or look at battles that are in your favorite periods of history while letting you explore other periods of history as well. I also enjoyed Dr. Platch's first year General European History survey course that talks about different themes throughout modern European history and how these themes are important to understanding events occurring today. And also one last course I'd like to mention, which also ties to the ancient studies faculty, is the Ancient History in a Global Context survey course, which is also a first year course. And it looks at ancient societies around the world, but not the typical ancient societies that people would think. It looks at more obscure societies. And I find those are even more interesting than the Egyptians, the Romans. So those are some of my favorite courses that I've taken so far at Laurier.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that. And kind of just along those lines, I know a lot of students usually wonder about the classroom sizes and what they look like in first year. And now you're in third year. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what those look like coming in for first years?
So for first year, generally history classes are quite big for Laurier. They're usually around 150, maybe 200 kids. But as you progress through the history degree at Laurier, the class sizes shrink. They get smaller and smaller and smaller as you diverge into the different areas that are your favorite that you'd like to study more. So by second and third year, or third and fourth year, you're seeing class sizes that are around maybe 40 people. And then in fourth year, you enter your capstone seminar, which is probably at least around 15 to 20 people, maybe even less. So it's the class sizes, in my opinion, are great.
Yeah. And yeah, that is really cool too. Again, seeing the smaller classroom sizes, because then you have more of that interaction with your classmates, with your professors. Professors, I feel like would almost know you by name in such a small class as well.
Well, and in first year, we do have, for those who like tutorials and discussions, I teach a first year class on the history of alcohol with 200 students, but we have tutorials. So every student is in a tutorial of 25, and those are led by the instructor and graduate students. So That's a nice way to get to know people too, is in those smaller settings. Those fourth year classes capped at 15. So 15 or smaller too.
Yeah. So you're really getting to know everybody for
We
sure.
do.
Awesome. Yeah. Amy, I'm going to toss it back to you here. So can you tell us a little bit more about the difference between history and ancient studies? I feel like maybe not too many people know the difference there.
Yeah, ancient studies is something, again, that sets Laurier apart. You might have heard of maybe classics or ancient civilizations, but the history department, you can take classes in all areas, all time periods. So if you would like to take an ancient Egypt class, you can. And you could take magic and religion in the ancient world. But what ancient studies does is it's focused for those who just really love that old stuff. And they take history classes along with classes in archaeology and myth, religion, like the roots of Buddhism, ancient philosophy. They also have the opportunity to take languages like Greek and Latin and Sanskrit. Can't imagine that's offered any other place, but we've been offering Sanskrit lately. And so it really depends on your interest. And the great thing is in first year, you take 2 classes, figure out what you like in history. And then if you find yourself drawn towards the old stuff, you can transition into ancient studies, or you can transition from the old stuff into history if you want more diversity. It's very flexible. And we do have a lot of students who actually end up double majoring in history and ancient studies. So.
Right. And with that, I know you threw the term in double major. Can you just elaborate maybe what a double major is? I feel like some students might get confused between that and a minor and then a double degree, throwing that all in there.
Laurier is particularly flexible on the ability to double major or add minors to your degree. And because in the history department, we have no required courses, there is no history 101 that you have to take, and there's no specific prerequisites you have to take. It's really easy to build double majors. And what happens is you take a few less courses in your major than you would if you were single major, to allow the flexibility to add a double major. So we actually find a lot of our students really benefit from that, because there's a lot of things that add on more directly, like ancient studies or medieval studies, but other things complement, like global studies or women's studies or philosophy, poli-sci. We probably have double majors in almost everything, including double degree students. I have 2 history math majors right now. So wherever your interests lie, you can follow that pursuit at Laurier.
Absolutely. And it's so cool that there's so much of that flexibility. I think that's particularly awesome within the Faculty of Arts in general, to see that amount of flexibility to design and create a degree that actually suits the students and that actually tailors to them and their interests, right?
Sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so Nick, tossing it back over to you. This is fun, kind of going back and forth here. So can you tell us just what you've liked about the history department so far at the Waterloo campus, maybe what you've liked best? Yeah.
So what I've liked best is, as Dr. Milne-Smith has mentioned before, is the flexibility of the history degree. It allowed me in first year to kind of branch out and explore different potential other majors or a double degree situation. And so the flexibility is great. I also enjoyed the broadness of Laurier's history faculty. Like, it's not focused either on Canadian history or modern history. You really get the diversity of specialties among the history faculty. So you can you get that opportunity in your undergrad degree to kind of explore whatever direction you want. And then at the end, you can find your favorite, or you end up finding your favorite area of study. So those are some of the things I've loved about the history faculty at the campus.
Absolutely. And then with that, kind of to tag on ish, what sets you apart? Like, what sets are the department apart from anything else? And I know, Nicholas, like you said, what you like best about it. So would you say, Amy, that would tack on to what sets it apart at Laurier as well?
I think that the ability that Nick pointed to be able to choose early on, especially in first year, I think you won't find this at many other programs where you have an absolute choice of first year courses, a lot of diversity of courses to choose from. So you can take topics in modern Canadian history with are a specialist in Indigenous studies, or you can take a history of piracy that looks at global pirates from around the world, starting with the pirates that you might be familiar with, like Pirates of the Caribbean type, and all the way through to the phenomenon of Somali pirates today. You can take traditional survey classes like Communist Revolution, or Ancient Africa, but we have a lot of thematic courses that start in second year, like History of Vikings, or I teach a course on the history of madness in second year. And what you'll really see is our faculty are constantly updating, adding new courses based on our specialties. I know one of our Canadianists added a new course called Saints and Scoundrels, Canadian Biography as History. The Canadians are very keen that if you had a great high school history experience, they want to build on it, but they also know that when you say Canadian history, some people kind of, oh no. So they basically want to say, this is not your father's history class. Our goal is to make you think about things in new ways and perhaps introduce history to you in a way you might not have ever thought of before. And I think the ability to choose your own adventure, as it were, in your degree allows you to have passion for what you're studying. And when you have passion for what you're studying, you do the best in it and you learn the most. And we want to encourage that at every stage along the way.
Absolutely. And then with that, I know that you had mentioned there are some like research opportunities. So Nicholas, if you wanted to even chat, or Amy, about some of the research opportunities that are available for the undergraduate students as well, which again would add on to why this is just such a unique department too.
So I can kind of take it from here because I'm involved in one of Laurier's research opportunities. I work at what's called the Laurier Center for Military Strategic and Disarmament Studies. So quite the acronym. It's been shortened down to LCMSDS. It goes kind of hand in hand because Laurier's history faculty does in some areas have a little bit of a military history focus, but not too much. But it allows a student to work with primary sources and to see them, to read them, and to participate in faculty research projects. And I think it's a great way for a student, if they're looking towards grad school, to really hone their skills, but also it teaches you, as Dr. Milne Smith mentioned, it also teaches you a number of skills that can be applied to other areas: critical thinking, forming an argument, like gathering evidence. I think that's another area where Laurier's research opportunities really shine, and they're a great way to get involved in the faculty and get to know the faculty better as well.
And I've hired students through the Laurier Work Study program the past 2 years, where students get to work with me on my contemporary research projects while explicitly thinking through how this is going to be a real world practical experience. So you have to think about what transferable skills you're learning when you're researching. This year, the student is working on court-martial records in the 19th century British Army, and very, very naughty men misbehaving as they are serving around the world in the 19th century. And she's looking at the actual documents in the original handwriting. And she's said to me already that it really gives you a sense on how much we don't know about history and how hard it is to piece together the past. So those research skills are really useful, but she's also getting time management skills and leadership skills and all those things that bosses like to see on a CV.
Absolutely. That's so cool that, there's that hands-on, like looking, like you said, through like original documents. That's super cool that they're able to do that. And kind of along the same lines of hands-on opportunities, are there any like other experiential learning or international opportunities for history or ancient studies students?
Well, I can speak a little bit to this. So in the pre and hopefully post-COVID world, we have a really active international teaching presence. So professors from our department have taken students to Puerto Rico, to the battlefields of France, to China, to Russia, to Poland. And continually those students always say it's the best experience. I could not have imagined it before. And you go with a group of really enthusiastic students who want to learn on the ground. Also, because our program is so flexible, a lot of students do a semester away in third year because it's easy to do. You just go away, take a bunch of history classes. Great, you haven't fallen behind and you're well set up. We do have a few courses also that have tried to integrate the more traditional idea of experiential learning. So we have a class that one of our instructors teaches on Canadian history and family history in particular. And part of that is working with local archives and museums and genealogy to find out the history of Waterloo region and the people who live here. We have a professor who's really interested in business and entrepreneurship. And it had to be canceled this year or postponed, a class that was going to actually work with Sun Life in the community to look at how to look at data and how to look at risk in the world. So we're always trying to find those opportunities. And even in our traditional classes, you'll find that students get the experience always of working with primary documents, looking at things from the past. We try to do that starting right at first year.
That's so cool. Especially how you said like you trying to start right in first year and diving in. So that's pretty awesome. And then we're going to toss it to Nicholas for one of our last questions as we're wrapping up here. So can you tell us just, what drew you to the history program and what advice would you give students that are thinking about coming to Laurier?
So what drew me to the history program actually was the level of flexibility of it, because coming out of high school, I liked a lot of periods of history. And I knew of Laurier's flexibility. That really attracted me towards it because I could explore, I could kind of eliminate periods I wasn't really a fan of, but it just allowed me to explore. But also the flexibility of the program as a whole allowed me to potentially do a double major or double degree. So that's what kind of drew me to Laurier. And advice for incoming first years would be explore the different classes, take classes in areas you're not familiar with, or take classes outside of history to see how history and those studies can kind of go hand in hand and form a good double major. So that would be my advice to incoming first years.
Absolutely. Really good advice. Again, I wish I had explored a little bit more. I kind of stuck to my bubble, and I feel like I'm learning about all these different programs. I'm like, man, I should have taken at least a course or something else out of here. So I really, really appreciate that. And I think exploring is definitely the perfect word to try and just see what they're interested in and really just explore. So with that, I just wanted to thank you both, Amy and Nicholas, for hanging out with us, for answering all of these awesome questions and giving students all the information they need to know. So thank you so much for that. Just want to throw out again for the students that are tuning in and watching that if you go online to our virtual Laurier experience, there you'll be able to see all stuff about Laurier. You've got your tours, your presentations. You can actually go and book an appointment with one of our ambassadors as well. And so if you want to have a little bit more of a deeper discussion, questions about the Faculty of Arts, history, book an appointment with one of our campus ambassadors, and then they'll also be able to help you out. So with that, again, thank you so much. And we really look forward to connecting with you soon. Bye, everyone.